Okay, so there's a lot of people who, you know, they're a little lazy with maintenance on bikes, and then they wake up one day and they're like, okay, so how do you properly lube a chain? A lot of people think it's just spray and go. Not exactly. You definitely want to make sure you clean it because, first it looks really fresh like this. Secondly, you don't have a whole bunch of stuff kicking up onto your paint when it's all said and done. And you're lubricating more surface of the actual chain itself. It's just proper maintenance. So this is what it looks like after you've lubed it. I'm going to go to my girlfriend's Dixer and show you how to do it from there. Alright, first things first, you want to take it for a quick 5-minute ride or so, just to get the chain a little bit warm. As you see, this chain needs to be cleaned. It's way overdue. I don't recommend you do this, so also don't judge me. And secondly, put it on the rear stand just to make the job easier, and put the bike in neutral, which I still have to do. Alright, make sure the wheel rolls freely. Just a tip for you guys who might be a little nervous about rear stands. When you put it on, when you're putting your bike on the rear stand, you want to try to just turn the front wheel slightly to the right so that it counters the effect of you turning the bike itself to upright it. That way it'll be a little more comforting to raise it up, while you have that moment of truth where you can drop it. Alright, now back to the chain. First thing you want to do is clean it. So what you need is a grunge brush. Scrub everything out, those little nooks and crannies inside the actual chain. And you would also like to have some solvent. On with the video. It decided to start pouring in Florida because the skies are bipolar. So I had to bring it inside a bit. Alright, so solvents. A lot of people say you have to go buy this. I know the Motul chain solvent's a good thing to get, but you don't really need it. You can use a standard degreaser like, this is a bottle. This is Purple Power. You get it at Walmart. I don't think it costs more than $5 or $6 at the most for this huge jug. This gets the job done no matter what it is, really, in my opinion. So, when you're ready to start cleaning your chain, have a water hose ready, and get this all going. Once again, keep the bike in neutral so you can rotate it on the stand. And you want to go ahead and just lubricate. Spray the solvent. Doesn't matter which way you go on this, it's all getting the job done. You're going to get some of this on your wheel, but fortunately, I recommend using it in the wind brake. And let it sink in a bit. You can also clean your sprocket while you're in the middle of doing this as well. It will come out making your bike look a little newer. Alright. So you let it sit, and you have two choices on how you're going to use the grunge brush. You can either scrub it from down at the bottom or scrub it from right here. I prefer using the area on the sprocket because it doesn't have any place. You can get the most torque on the scrub. It helps get extra time out from you. So, really you can see a little puddle of some of your gunk coming down below it. So yeah, get ready to scrub. And might have to get busy for a little while, depending on how dirty your chain is. This one's pretty overdue. Look at the sprocket, you'll even see how a lot of that grease and stuff is coming up from this brush too. Shows you how dirty it is. Okay. I'm going to fast forward you to the part where I'm going to spray. And we'll be back. Alright, as you can see just a little bit here, I'm starting to get a lot of that gunk off. You see the sprocket? You saw it before, it's really dark. I used this end, which seems like it doesn't have much of a purpose. Found some great success in going in here and scrubbing the actual sprocket, especially around the actual chain itself. So a lot of stuff under there you're not going to get to without aiming for it. Also, you can treat this rinsing and scrubbing stage kind of like washing your hair. Lather, rinse, and repeat. I might have to repeat this about 3 times. So, you know, you just give it a good torque in here, scrub it, make sure you get in there, rinse it, repeat it, and until you're happy with the results, don't stop. You're not doing any harm to it. I'll get back to you as soon as I rinse it off, because I just don't want the phone to get wet. Alright, I want you to look at that. Look at that sprocket. That's beautiful. It looks brand new-ish. It's not done. But if you look at the chain, just the rinse itself, seeing that made a phenomenal difference because you already loosened everything up. I'm going to probably have to do this again once or twice. But it's definitely coming through. You want it to look pretty close to new before you lube it. That way the lubricant does its best job when it's actually on. So you know, get your solvent again, or your degreaser, which is my Purple Power. Spray it on liberally, as much as you need, and repeat the process. Put you down. Another tip is if I want to make sure I cover my tracks and know exactly where I've been, look for the master link on the chain. It's going to be a different color all the time. So you look for that, you start above it, work your way around until you see it again. Also, I don't recommend using WD-40. You can get in here and compromise your seals between each link. It seems like it's your best friend for rust, but not necessarily for the life of the chain. Put a little more elbow grease in if you got rust. Alright, now I'm going to go through the process again to save you the boredom. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back after the scrubbing. And a quick tip for some of you guys to save you the frustration, you'll notice it. When you put that grunge brush, chain brush, whatever you want to call it, back to the chain, you see a lot of the stuff come right back on. The reason why is because this chain's been through a lot. It took everything off that you don't want and it's dealing with it. It is your best friend, so just don't be mad at it. Before you actually apply the lubricant, be sure that the grunge brush is not the last thing to have touched your chain. If you want to get any more last minute stuff off of the surface of these actual links, use an old shop rag or an old t-shirt and actually wipe it off. It'll be loose enough because of the rinsing and the degreaser that you probably wouldn't need this. Alright, so I'm going to get back and do a rinse on it, and hopefully I won't need to do this again. Alright, so we're back. I think I'm pretty pleased with how it looks so far. Nice and clean. That sprocket looks new. Makes this whole thing look so much better. She's gonna love it. She's gonna love it. Alright, so like I was saying, grunge brush isn't going back on here again because I'm happy with the way it looks. Just to touch up and dry it off. Get an old shop rag. It can be semi-damp or dry, it doesn't matter. You can go in here and, you know, little extra things like this don't require a whole run through again. Just wipe it off. Take it out. See? Just fine. If it focuses. There we go. Just fine. So, run through here. Do your last minute touches. Kind of like you're washing your car. Just wipe it clean. Do this as long as you like. I recommend you try your best to make it be as dry as possible before you lube the chain. Also, while you're in the middle of all that, dry off your paint, dry off your frame, everything else, because it got pretty wet in the middle of all of this. Alright, so, oh, looking down, you can see all that dirt. That's from the chain. That was nasty. So, go ahead, wipe the chain clean, like I'm about to do here. Oh, hold on. Let's turn you around. There we go. And so you go in here, give it a good clean scrub. You can wipe both sides of it, top, everything. The chain is starting to look itself dry, but as you see when I turn it, a lot of stuff's still dripping. So get it nice and dry. You don't want water going in and messing up the integrity of the surface for the chain lube to dry on. That's when you get splash. Nobody likes splash on a nice bike. If I haven't said it already, don't run the bike while you're doing this. Fingers will be missing. So if you must, hide the keys from your kids, hide the keys from your girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever it is. Don't give them a chance to hurt you. Alright. Oh yes, and try to keep as lint free of a cloth as you can. All that lint doesn't help either. Alright, I'm just going to proceed to dry out the exhaust, the paint, all that. You know how that goes, so you don't have to watch. We'll be back. Alright, now on to the fun stuff. Lubing the chain. This is going to be the quickest, easiest part of this. That's what you've been waiting for. Alright, so chain's all dry. You got your master link right here in sight. That's where you're going to start. You're going to start lubing it from right here basically, and then you're going to rotate the tire forward like it's rolling on the ground. Continue all the way until you come back around to this side of that master link. As far as recommendations for chain lube, you want to go for the stuff that doesn't splash. You want to go for the stuff that has longevity. And from research I've done in the past week, found out that anything basically considered chain wax seems to win in the category of longevity. They also claim that it's fling resistant. I haven't ran either of these motorcycles out of this garage with this chain lube just yet. I just applied it on the other chain, and just looking at it, you can tell that there's no residue. It's really nice. There's some run, but that's because I kind of oversaturated it there. But on here, everything looks immaculate. I'm hoping it doesn't fling onto the paint and so forth. So back to this bike. Alright, so now that you're ready to go, you put this on. You start pretty close to the chain and you spray. And for this, it says you can do it liberally, just don't oversaturate it to where it is dripping. Because once again, the purpose of this lube is to not drip. And just a tip, if you want to save yourself some cleaning, put a rag near your fairing or exhaust or whatever is going to be directly under the chain when you spray. That way it takes it and you can get back on with a clean bike. Alright, so let's sit you down. Hopefully you can see alright. Kind of got you propped up here. So once again, start from the master link. Do a full lap around the chain until you come back to the other side of the master link. Spray as much as you think so, just don't oversaturate it. That's about enough right there. Try not to go over the same spot twice. That's when you start to run into oversaturation problems. Take your time. Do it right the first time around, so you don't have to worry about that second lap. You can see the towels catching out of this runoff too. So, save yourself some work in the long run. Preferably you want to make sure you got your chain warm before this, like we said before. That way, this stuff kind of cures in a lot better. It's like putting cheese on a hamburger on the stove. Cheese molds in just right, right? Alright. And here we are toward the end of the chain. We've completed it, and from this point you want to let your chain sit without you moving this motorcycle for about 10 to 15 minutes. That way you let it actually set. You know, your chain's been lubed now. You're done. And if you don't want to go through the excruciating pain that you watch me do, you're going to do this often. You know, every 400 to 600 miles is what they recommend, at least for this bike, the Suzuki Gixxers. You know, that applies to stock and aftermarket chains. I think this one's stock, mine's might be an aftermarket 525. But yeah, take care of your chain. That and your wheels are what's getting you going, regardless of anything else going on in this bike. Take care of it. And it just looks nice when it's clean. You know, before and after, the bike actually looks new. People won't judge you for not taking care of the bike. It's like, oh, there's this nice bike, but man, does he trash it. So, it's good for the longevity, good for your image. It's just make sure you do it. Don't cut any corners. Alright? And always, ride safe, be smart. Watch out for the stupid drivers out there that don't look for you. And wear your helmets. I know a lot of you won't, but you know, I've already been saved by one on a bicycle, let alone a motorcycle. So just think of that. Alright? And have a nice day. Once again, be safe.